Welcome back, all of you string picking guys and gals, to String Pickers channel here at Obscene Studio. I am your host, Casey. It is a rainy, stormy day outside, so what are we going to do? Part 2 to the AZOR Tiger Overdrive. In the last video, upon editing everything, I realized that it just didn't sound that great the way I had it mic'd up. I do not have my new mic yet. Actually, I've got the same clothes on because this is right after the last video. I'm not supposed to receive the new mic until tomorrow. So I'm not going to mic the amp today. I am going to do a demo for you guys just from the microphone on my camera. I also mentioned in the last video that we're going to do things a little differently this time. I want you guys to understand that when you get an overdrive pedal, the best way to run an overdrive pedal, especially on an amp like my Carbon X100B, is to get the amp to the edge of breakup and then introduce the overdrive to that. In the last video, we tried it on clean tone because I wanted to see what the overdrive pedal had to offer by itself. However, that is not the way that you're supposed to run them. I do things like this so that there are people out there, I'm sure, that get an overdrive pedal and think automatically to themselves, oh, this is going to give me this rocking killer tone and it's going to really beef up my distortion and all of this other. And then they plug it into an amp. And when they do that and run the amp through a clean tone, then they become disappointed in the pedal. However, last video I did mention that I did not like how it sounded through the amp with the microphones hooked up to it. I have a lot of fuzz in the microphone. I tried to edit a lot of that out post as I could. Noise gate doesn't really help it because it's coming from the microphone. It's not really coming from the amp. So part 2 is going to be all about running it through the Carbon X100B on channel 2, which is going to be the overdrive channel. Now, this amp, without an overdrive, you can crank up the gain, and this amp it's phenomenal for overdrive. It's not a high gain distortion amp. It just simply is not. This amp was made in 1983, and back then I don't know if they just decided that pedals is the best way for a good overdrive. I don't know, but there just isn't awesome distortion on this that you would get from a lot of your newer modern amps of today. I have other amps in this room that are just require no pedals at all in order to get that real good rich distortion out of. So what each of you that are watching this video, if you happen to be a beginner and you do buy an overdrive pedal, understand that you have to play with that pedal. The knobs, you have to tweak them to find that perfect balance between, overdrive distortion and high gain distortion. But the best overdrive to high gain distortion you're going to get, especially out of an all tube amp, is by switching that amp to a channel 2 or a dirty channel, getting it to the edge of breakup by itself, and then introducing the overdrive pedal. However, I will tell you this: if you have an amp that is only clean tone, and they're out there, a lot of your cheaper budget amps that you can get like $80 or so, some of them have it, some of them don't, some of them are just clean tone. If you have an amp that only does clean tone, You do not need an overdrive pedal. Just go straight to distortion. You can drive them with an overdrive pedal. If you're looking for just overdrive, then that's fine. You can do that. You heard in the last video that when I did that we did through the clean channel on the Carvin, we got an overdrive tone and it sounded great. But in order to get that good, rich overdrive distortion tone, I had to introduce the AZOR Tiger Overdrive Pedal and my Donner Blues driver together to get that real heavy kind of distortion that a lot of the young people are looking for today. Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging. I'm a big distortion guy. I love distortion. My favorite music to play is metal, although I do play a little bit of everything, old to new. It doesn't matter. Guitar for me is fun. If you are just starting out, you will realize that guitar is something that will teach you that you may like one genre of music when you start playing, but before it's over with, you are going to go to different genres. You're going to learn, and you're going to want more and more information about the instrument that you've picked up in your life. And a lot of people do that. I have seen people start out wanting to learn metal and then turn right around and do an about face and end up playing bluegrass. Actually, a pretty close friend of my son's has done that very same thing. He is excellent at any kind of bluegrass. He's real good at that, but listens to Slipknot, Metallica, Megadeth, listens to all those guys. He listens to all of it. So what we're going to do is I've already got everything hooked up on the bench behind me. We're going to do pretty much the same way we did in the last video. We're going to set you guys up to where you can see me operate the pedals, and you're going to see me in the screen. But this time we are only using the camera mic to get the sound of this amp in the room, because the camera mic does really good at that. You're just going to have to understand that I have a fan running, so if you hear that in the background, you'll know what that is. It's not noise from the amp or noise from the pedals or anything like that. Today's guitar is Donnie. Donnie is a Spear RT101 T-style body. I don't want to say Telecaster style because people are like, oh, it's not a Telecaster, you know, the Fender people and stuff. So I just say a T-style body. Very, very cool guitar. I've never once in my life even heard of these guitars until my son gave me this one for Christmas, and I play the time out of this. It is tuned to drop C sharp. It has a 5-piece neck, mahogany and maple mahogany body, and the front here is the top is mahogany as well, but has been stained a darker color on the front. Has a push pull to split the humbucker, volume knob, 3-way switch. Very, very cool guitar. I really love this guitar. Been playing it every day since I got it. This neck profile is just like as thin as an Ibanez, and I love that about this guitar. It's real fast neck, even though I'm not that fast, but that's what I call a fast neck. So let me get you guys on the bench. This is what we're going through, and let me get y'all set up to listen to this pedal, push this Carvin, and get that tone, that rich metal tone that we are looking for. Okay guys, another thing that I wanted to say too, if you'll look up here, I have the TS808 and TS9 pedal, which is also an AZOR pedal. Hooked back up too. I just went ahead and hooked them all up. May do just a little bit of a shootout between these two here. I've used both of these. I can't really craft an opinion of which one is better until I use both of them in a mix. So I'm going to turn the volume down on this one and going to turn the gain down as well. It is currently set to the TS9. Nothing else on the board is on. Right now we are clean signal right to the edge of breakup. You hear that? You still get that clean tone. Sounds just a little bit out of tune, but not too much. I think it'll be okay. Okay, so carbon is on the dirty side, and it gets a whole lot more dirty than that. Have the volume set to about 3/4, just under 1. I don't want to go past that because it's going to be ridiculous. So but you get that breakup when you really get into it. Not much at the way I've got it set now. Just right at the edge. So let's turn on the Tiger Overdrive and see how that affects the tone. The Tiger Overdrive gain is set all the way up. All the way up. We're not playing games here. We're just, today we know what it sounds like without being on the clean tone. We want to know if we can get that rich, distorted sound out of it. And you turn the level up just a little. Helps out a lot. We also have the voicing turned up almost all the way to about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we have the tone turned up all the way. So the Tiger Overdrive, even pushing to the point of breakup with the carbon, is only giving us, it's giving us good distortion, not what most people would call high gain, but it is a good rich distortion. And it sounds, I'm impressed by that. I'm impressed by that. I mean, for 20 bucks, you can't go wrong, like 1998. I think I paid $17.99 for it, but it had like a coupon, but I must have bought the last one because there are none left whatsoever. I've tried to dig it back up for the last video to give you guys what it was being priced at. It wouldn't even bring it up. It's out of stock. Okay, so we know that that's what the Tiger Overdrive is going to do with the carbon. Can we get richer than that? Yes, I can turn the gain up on the carbon and we can probably get to the point of that metal tone. But that is not the intention for this video. The intention for this video is to get the amp to the edge of breakup and then seeing what the pedal does to it after that. So that is the AZOR Tiger Overdrive. No EQ, no nothing. I have the EQ on the amp set to one certain thing that's been like that forever. But no EQ pedals or nothing. So let's shut that off. And let's turn on the AZOR Overdrive TS9 and okay, now this is another AZOR pedal. You'll see it right here. It's got the little pirate thing going on, skull up here. Now this is the distortion that you get with this pedal with the TS9 on it. So gain at full blast, we have our tone set all same position as the other, our volume same position. So that's the TS9 of that pedal. That's what we're looking at. To me, the other one has just a little bit, I don't know if it'll pick up on camera, but a little bit more, just a hair bit more than this one does on the TS9 setting. So let's shut it off. And let's flip it up to TS808. I would leave it on and do that, but it pops, and when it does, it really shakes the room. This is the TS808. Little bit more on that one. That amped it up a little bit. That gave us a little more volume. But if I had to say anything, I would say that it gives us almost exactly what the Tiger Overdrive gives us on the same settings. It's set for the volume maybe just a little bit louder, and it is, because the other, it's just a notch above. Okay, so now we know. We know. So let's shut that off. As a reminder, edge of breakup on the amp, Tiger Overdrive. It almost has a more mellow tone to it than the other overdrive pedal does. If I had to pick between the two, it would probably be the Tiger Overdrive, simply because the TS9 sounds almost identical, not quite enough gain to match the Tiger Overdrive, and the Tiger Overdrive is a little more mellow distortion than the TS808 setting on that other AZOR Overdrive pedal. So let's try with the blues driver and see what that does. I'm going to turn on the noise gate, because when I add the blues driver, it usually gives a little bit of noise. Okay, this is what we were talking about yesterday. This is that high gain sound. Okay, so let's get rid of that one, and let's go to the TS9 with the blues driver. This is tough, because I kind of like that better with the blues driver than I do the Tiger Overdrive. It sounds more tight, not as muddy as it did with the Tiger Overdrive. I don't know why, but it's odd. Let's try a little reverb. Yeah. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Okay, let's end off part 2 with final thoughts and final ratings and final opinions. Okay, guys, well, that's it. As far as ratings go, I'm going to have to say that I'm going to leave the rating the same. I'm going to leave it the same as I did in the last video, and this is the reason why. Because even though with the Tiger Overdrive sounded just a little bit muddier than the TS9 setting on this other AZOR Overdrive, I know that I can get that out by just EQ adjustments. So, and that's not a big deal for me. It's personal preference. I just don't like a lot of muddy tone, a lot of that real low. You can't really discern one chord from another tone. I don't really care much about that. I will say the TS9 through the blues driver going into the carbon, that's what that carbon is needed. I did buy this Tiger Overdrive with my own money because I'm forever looking for something to push this carbon that makes it sound good analog wise. I have a Headrush Flex Prime that gives me any tone I want out of that amplifier. It does absolutely everything that that amplifier needs. However, for the information to give to you guys, I want to check out a lot of these cheap pedals, these cheap amps, all of this stuff that you beginners out there are really looking to get into. And so you guys know what to invest in, how to use that investment to get that perfect sound that you're looking for right off the bat. By no means you're not going to stick with that sound. You're going to move on. You're going to, just like I did. I started playing guitar on a Continental Drifter flat top. You had to stand on the strings to get them to touch the frets. The strings were this high. It was ridiculous. All you could do was at best cowboy chords, and that's how I learned my chords. So you're going to keep going. If you're a beginner, you're going to be on a never-ending search for tone. I've been in this game now for 40 years, been playing guitar for a long time. Used to be a lot better at it than I am now, but neuropathy, health issues, things like that have slowed down my picking in my left hand. And off and on over the years, picking a while and then not picking for a while. Then that's the worst thing to do. If you're going to get with it, stay with it at all costs. I understand you're going to have priorities in your life. I have priorities in my life. They weren't as important. When you have kids, your music equipment is just an investment that's going to bail you out of something someday when you get sick or your family gets sick or you need the money. I understand that that happens and that's cool, but always keep one instrument that's just not worth much at all, just to keep around so you can pick on. If you're going to invest in things like Donnie here, which is about a $400 guitar, and if you're going to invest in things like that, then there may come a day when you have to start selling your guitar collection, your amps, stuff like that. And that's understandable, but always keep an instrument close by that's, even if it's you have to sell everything, that one instrument that's ratty old acoustic or whatever that you can just pick around on, and that's not really worth much to anybody but you. And always keep playing, always. The cons, I think the muddiness is another con that I will add to the Tiger Overdrive when it comes to playing through this amp. They put out a good pedal when they put out this other Overdrive that, and I don't even think that it has a certain name. It says AZOR Overdrive, and it's got the skull with the anchors, and it's got a little anchor up here. It's a gray one. You guys find that one, might want to invest in that. That's a pretty cool overdrive. I dig that you get two good voicings out of that, and it just completely changes the tone. That's a really good overdrive. Now, I did spend more for that one than I spent for the Tiger Overdrive, so I'm not really expecting miracles from the Tiger Overdrive. Usability, yes, you can use it. Don't worry about that. It's absolutely 100% usable. You can get good tones out of that. I was still sort of at the overdrive stage playing that. It give you that, just like it said in the instruction manual, it gives you that rock sound, that bluesy kind of sound if you want it, and that country spank tone that you get, which I tried none of those. I went straight to see how much overdrive we could get out of it. I only had my carbon set to about 3 or 4 on the gain, and I had channel 2 turned down quite a bit. I could have got high gain tone from the Tiger Overdrive if I would have turned that gain up and gotten a little more out of the amp, but I was shooting for close to halfway just to see what it would give me. You heard the difference between the two. The winner of the shootout is the silver AZOR Overdrive pedal, simply because it might have costed more money, but it's more flexible. It doesn't sound muddy when you start cranking it up. You don't have to EQ it out like you would on the Tiger Overdrive. The Tiger Overdrive is a mellow sound. I do like that about it. But once you run it to get any kind of high gain sound out of it, like pairing it with a blues driver, it gets kind of muddy. Now, you could adjust the tones and do all that stuff. That's fine. Both of those pedals are awesome. I'll just say that. They are awesome. So if you guys are looking to invest in an overdrive pedal to push that amp that you've got, maybe you have an old Fender Champion, or maybe an old Bassman, or something like that you're trying to drive that dirty just at the point of breakup tone with an overdrive to get some good distortion out of it. Any one of those pedals will do it. Any one of them, either one. It's just up to you, ladies and gentlemen, on how much you want to spend. $20 for the Tiger Overdrive, and I think it was $30 for the other AZOR Overdrive pedal. But that's part 2 and the finale for this overdrive pedal series. I try to break my videos down to about anywhere between 30 minutes and under. I knew that if I'd have done all of this in the first video and tried to upload that, it would have been at least an hour. I have a problem with people only watching a few minutes of my videos and then just clicking off of them. My analytics tell me so anyway. They may be lying, I don't know. But guys, that's it. If this is your first time here, hit the like button. Leave me a comment below. Tell me which one you think sounded better. Subscribe. Like I said in the last video, what are you doing? I mean, you can come in, you need the information. You're starting to play guitar, or maybe you have played guitar for a while and you're stumped on what pedal to get, what amp to get, what guitar to get, how to work on your guitars. We do that here. There's a whole list of us in our community on YouTube that do that. There's all kinds of us guys that can help you out. Subscribe to all of us. All of us. There's Tone Yeager, Ted Talks Guitars and Life, BCG 5150. Chris is like, he's the man. There's Stealth Guitars. And the list goes on and on and on with all of these guys. Cal B, Rocco the Cat. J-Man. There's just, these guys are out there. We try to bring you the information. I'm not sure why they do it. Really doesn't matter, because they are trying to help. But why I do it is because when I was that 10 to 12-year-old boy and I was learning how to play guitar, I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have somebody right around the corner that I could just run to and ask questions. I had to learn everything on my own. My first 5 years was learning completely by ear. That was it. I didn't have the luxury of digging up sheet music or having somebody to show me this or that. Well, you have people here now. You have the world's largest toolbox in your pocket, and that's your cell phone. With that cell phone, you can get any information whatsoever at any time. So do that, guys. Help us help you. As always, I pray that you and yours are having the most blessed day ever, and I pray that God is with you all. Until next time, bye.